So this news is a bit of PlayStation news and Xbox news. Really, it's more of, I'm going to give more of an Xbox take on this because I honestly feel like this could be something that happens to kind of change the way that we see, Xbox and PlayStation. For me, anyway, I look at this and I say, okay, well, I personally don't care that Sony's doing this, and I feel like it's something that Microsoft could definitely change some of their tactics if they actually do this. You know what I mean? So we'll see if this is something that kind of happens or not. I honestly think that this could change what Microsoft is doing. But, I've kept you in the dark enough. Let's get started. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel. Means a lot to me personally. Honestly, it does. I do daily gaming content. And, again, that's something that not everybody can do. And I just feel like I try to be informative and fun, and maybe that comes through to you guys. And if it does, please leave a like, because that actually helps the channel grow, tremendously. So, just being honest about it. Okay, with that being said, Sony looks like they are going to buy the company that owns FromSoftware. And now that has been confirmed. So, Katakawa Corporation, the owner of FromSoftware, among other game development studios, confirmed the rumors that started the other day regarding Sony's interest in purchasing the company. As first reported, they released a new statement confirming reports that Sony has expressed the interest and intent to acquire the company. But a decision is yet to be made. If there's any update, the statement concludes an announcement will be made in a timely and appropriate manner. So they are kind of confirming that anyway. So, FromSoftware owner is among the oldest Japanese companies still active today. Founded back in 1945, the company has become, over the years, a media conglomerate that operates not only in the video game industry, but also publishes manga and anime. Besides owning around 70% of the Dark Souls and Elden Ring developer, Katakawa also owns Spike, Chunsoft, and Acquire, which are known for being the developers of Dragon Ball series, which received its latest entries last month, and the classic stealth series Tenchu. Acquire has also worked on other successful games in the past few years, such as the 2 entries in Octopath series, both developed in collaboration with Square Enix, and Mario Luigi Brothership, the latest entry in the Mario Luigi series earlier in the month. The latest release from FromSoftware, which could become a Sony-owned studio if the acquisition goes through, is the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. So again, this is very interesting for, a couple of reasons. The first reason that I believe that this is interesting is because you could actually kind of look at this and say, okay, well, Microsoft would have to possibly do something along the lines of, of maybe holding back, exclusives and things like that. We'll have to see. I think that it'll be very interesting to see how that works out. And you know what I mean? I think that, honestly, we really, really could be seeing something that changes the game, and again, that's something that, not a lot of people are kind of talking about, but think about this for a second, you know what I mean? It could have a big impact on future Xbox releases, because this is a very interesting thing. So there's obviously things going on with this, obviously with the story kind of doing the rounds, and now they've kind of spoken about it. The talks between the two sides are apparently ongoing, and if it's successful, we could see something in the coming weeks. Of course, if the deal does go through, it remains to be seen how things will change. If a potential Elden Ring 2 is on the cards, would PlayStation get timed exclusivity rights or full exclusivity rights? That's something to kind of look at too. For me, I believe, and this would make the most sense, Sony's trying to go back and double down on the single player aspect of their gaming, right? They took all these wrong bets on the multiplayer stuff, the live service stuff, and that stuff doesn't really look like it's going to play out. I mean, you look at some stuff like Helldivers 2, and that did okay, pretty good. But then, like Concord was a joke, and all the other stuff, some of the other stuff got canceled or whatever the case may be. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's kind of easy to sit there and go, okay, well, what should Sony do? Like, listen, could you imagine? And people will go, well, no. Like, I see a lot of Xbox fans kind of go back on this, and they go, well, no, they lose all this money. They'd lose this, they'd lose that. I mean, listen, I don't know how much like Elden Ring sold, but the two top platforms for that were PlayStation and PC. So they wouldn't really lose that much by cutting Xbox out of the picture, and they would probably gain console sales, right? So that's something that I feel like, realistically, a situation where gamers can kind of look at things and go, okay, well, what are we going to gain from this? What are we going to lose from this? I honestly do feel like Sony would be in a very, very bad. Microsoft would be in a bad situation. And again, what would they do? Like, I feel like there's this group of Xbox fans that protect Phil Spencer no matter what he does. And to be honest with you, with what he's doing, people go, oh, well, that's not Phil's fault. That's not Phil's fault. He's doing what Satya and Amy Hood want him to do. He doesn't want to put his games on PlayStation. He doesn't want to do that. He really doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people say. But the truth of the matter is, he's kind of been talking this way since the very beginning, where he doesn't believe in, like, exclusives and stuff like that. He's honestly been talking like that for a very long time already. And so people refuse to see that Phil is, like, behind this stuff. And that's I think, unfortunate to me, because he's obviously the guy. I mean, he's the guy. If he's the guy that picked, which we all know this because he said it flat out, he's the one that chose to buy Minecraft and Mojang. He's the one that chose to buy, ZeniMax, Bethesda. He's the one that made the call about Activision. He's the one that had all the Sega stuff, right? He was the one that put that down, like, inquiring about possibly buying them or buying Nintendo, and that's all his stuff. But people don't believe putting the games elsewhere is him. Like, it's so weird to me. But imagine this: Sony buys FromSoftware, and the next Souls game or the next Elden Ring game is exclusive to PlayStation. Is Microsoft still going to rush out there and put Halo and Gears and all those games on PlayStation? Like, at that point, you're really just kind of destroying your brand even further. And you know what I mean? Like, just hurting your fans more than anything. So, again, when I look at this, I'm kind of saying to myself, I'm hoping that Sony does do this, right? I hope that Sony goes out there and gets this and makes it exclusive. And, when they make it exclusive, I want them to make it exclusive, and then I hope that Microsoft has some kind of reaction, and their reaction is, look, I'm not talking about making Call of Duty exclusive. That would make absolutely no sense. What I'm talking about is, making, keeping your stuff, Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, Perfect Dark, State of Decay, keeping your in-house stuff exclusive, right? If you want to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, who cares? You know what I'm saying? If you want to put the next Fallout on PlayStation, who cares? But Fable, Forza, all this stuff should no way, shape, or form touch PlayStation platforms. And that's just the truth of the matter, right? And maybe this could facilitate that. So I know it sounds selfish, but I'm all for Sony doing whatever they need to do. For one, it's going to help them be even more competitive in the content race. And two, I think it's going to help tremendously with the way that we're going to start to see, Microsoft maybe with some of their releases. I mean, Microsoft would be the absolute fooliest idiots, like morons, to release games on PlayStation, their first-party stuff, if PlayStation is buying things like FromSoftware and keeping those games off Xbox. And I hope it happens, just so there's one or two things that happen. Sony buys them and they keep things for themselves exclusive, and then Phil decides to still release games on PlayStation. It makes them look terrible and the fans all revolt. Or two, Sony buys them, makes an exclusive, and Microsoft gets some balls and decides to, keep their games exclusive and understand that that's how you do competition. Let me know how you feel about the whole thing, though, down below. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.